Well, it's day 3 of World's Group Stage with coverage brought to you by Alienware, and I'm joined right now by Santorin from FlyQuest. First off, thank you. I think on behalf of the entire region, it's nice that we are not 6 games down as a region. Still kind of a crazy game though. So, what do you
Yeah.
think about that game after having just played it?
I'd definitely say there could be some optimizations in draft. I don't think we're coming out too hot in draft.
Yeah.
But I would never blame it on that. I think we definitely made a lot of mistakes in the game. I think we died a couple of times too many in the early game, and it kind of like made the game a little more explosive than it should have been. And then when it came to team fighting, I feel like we always got the first like good engage, but then we're just over chase, and then they'd like kind of turn it back around. So I feel like it was definitely just a lot of mis execution on our end, more so than like unicorns. I love playing well.
I know we don't want to just group all the different NA teams together because I'm sure all of them are struggling for different reasons or facing off against some very great opponents. But do you have any idea why it is that, is there in your mind any kind of like common issue, like drafts maybe between all these teams? I don't know how much you've gotten to watch the other LCS games, but I'm kind of curious if you see anything like maybe the NA meta that's caused a lot of issues for us.
Yeah, so I do think our drafts have been kind of iffy. It still feels like we're kind of playing like the NA meta with a lot of scaling and a lot of team fighting. For example, like the TL game, they were playing Twitch for Khan and just got destroyed by Draven Leona. Stuff like that, where like in NA, you'd probably get away with that stuff. But then here, it's a completely different ball game. So I definitely feel like there's some catching up to do in terms of like the meta picks and then just also like the aggression and how enemy teams can punish you.
Yeah. Well, what do you think of your chances of going forward? Because I know the round robin's not done, but I think you're now 1-1. So what do you think are your chances in this group now that you've played these 2 games?
Um, it's definitely a really tough group because I think DRX and Tess are both really, really strong teams. So I wouldn't say our chances are like too great, but I would also say that I don't think we've shown everything we got, and we've definitely got some picks up our sleeves that we have to pull out, and hopefully we can get the wins that are
Yeah.
necessary.
All right. Well, setting aside the games, how has Worlds been for you? Because we talked a little bit before you left about the fact that you hadn't been for a while. Now you have returned. So what is it like for you to be back at Worlds again?
It's amazing being back. I just wish there'd be a crowd and you'd go on stage, like kind of like how it used to be. Obviously, Corona kind of took over, so it's definitely a weird feeling that when I'm like on stage, there's no people. It's just kind of like we're really far away from each other too. The only people I can see is like kind of my opponents. So it's definitely not the exact same feeling, and there's no real hype to it that like I had last time I went. But it's definitely really good to be back, and I'm really happy to play against the best teams in the
Well, the
world.
stage looks like crazy from home, where when you see it on the broadcast. I know it doesn't look entirely like that when you're in it,
Yeah.
but does it still feel kind of neat and cool? I don't know how much of like the crazy graphics that we see you get to see.
We definitely get to see some of those graphics, and I do think it's a really cool stage, and I really enjoy the setup. Like I think it's really really amazing. Just kind of missing the fans and the crowd,
Yeah.
But besides that, I think they've done a really good job.
What is the rest of the world's experience like for you guys? Because obviously there's a hotel. I've heard you guys are kind of far away from the venue. It's tough because normally I know a lot of this stuff because I'm there, but I'm not. So I'm trying to kind of get that insight from you guys.
I think it's like kind of far. It's like 20 minutes to 40 minutes depending on traffic. So I mean, you can kind of get there quickly. And honestly, I don't mind having a little bit of traveling because I like listen to music, kind of get like in the mood, kind of. But I say it's really cool. Like the hotel is amazing, great food. So I'm definitely enjoying my stay
Is
here.
the studio that you guys are in pretty cool or interesting? I mean, like, because normally these things are played out in these giant arenas, or even whenever it's not like that giant, it's still like a big theater or something. So does it feel anything like that, or is it literally just going to like essentially a TV station?
Yeah, it's kind of like I haven't seen too much cool stuff. It's kind of like I'm going from room to
Yeah.
room. There's not like not the other kind of worlds where there's like really cool setups and stuff like that. It's mainly just the stage that's really really amazing, and maybe there's stuff I haven't seen yet.
Well, obviously, I know that you would have liked to have won that first game, but besides that, are there any things that the any surprises that you've seen in the group stage? Because it does feel like a lot of the good teams are winning, and there haven't been very many upsets.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it kind of looks like I would expect. The only thing I would say though is I didn't actually expect Unicorns of Love to be a team here at Worlds, because I think they've been playing really well in play-ins, and like looking at my opponents, I just didn't expect them to come here. So I think that would be like the biggest thing that I would be like, wow, they actually made it, you know?
Yeah.
Besides that, I think it's kind of expected. I think we're definitely not playing as well as we should have, which obviously I didn't expect that one. I definitely knew that was going to be struggles, but we've definitely not been performing to what we should.
Yeah. Any expectations for tomorrow?
Well, it's DRX. They're definitely a really strong team. It's not going to be even close to as easy as against Unicorns of Love, because even that wasn't an easy game. So we just got to show up and do our best.
Yeah, very good. Anything you want to say to any of the NA fans out there after you have given us our first and only victory so far on day 3?
Yeah, you fans, you're welcome. The memes can die down a little bit. I mean, I understand there's going to be plenty of memes. Just don't make NA players feel too bad. Like we're out here doing our best, and just stay positive, guys.
Yeah. Well, we'll do our best. It's difficult, but you helped us out a lot with that. Thank you so much for the interview. I know we had a bit of a technical bump in the middle, but I think we're good. And for everyone else, you can check out the rest of my coverage of all things Worlds right here on my YouTube channel. You know, when the first settlers were traveling across America, they came right down this road, and they needed supplies. And you know who they relied on? Alienware for those supplies. That's right. They needed to have like a great M15 laptop to ensure that I'm gonna keep doing this while we move out of the way. They needed a great laptop to make sure that they could weather the challenges of travel. I have no idea what this looks like. I don't have Broden with me. And so that's what they did. They actually... Is this car slowing down too much? Is he going to ask me a question about what I'm doing? Okay, no, we're good. They moved on. So my point is, yes, those settlers, they relied on Alienware. And you can rely on Alienware. There's a link in the video description. Thank you to them and DraftBuff for sponsoring my Worlds coverage. And they're doing a giveaway for a bunch of cool stuff. So go check out the giveaway. If you enter, it really helps us out.